Few athletes in any sport have blurred the line between competition and performance art as seamlessly as Deion Sanders. Known to millions as Primetime, Sanders was more than an elite cornerback. He was a living, breathing highlight reel whose preternatural speed and theoretical persona forced the NFL to rethink its relationship with showmanship. Over a 14-year football career and a concurrent stint in Major League Baseball, Sanders routinely humiliated opposing teams, provoked rule changes, and transformed Sunday afternoons into must-see television. So today, let's explore how Primetime's blend of bravado, athleticism, and self-promotion embarrassed the league's traditionalists and reshaped professional football forever. Born August 9, 1967 in Fort Myers, Florida, Deion "The Wind" Sanders was the only child of civil servant Deion Sr. and nurse Alberta. From an early age, he displayed boundless energy and a competitive fire that transcended any single sport. At North Fort Myers High School, he lettered in football, basketball, and baseball, earning all-state honors in each, clear signs of a rare tri-sport talent. In 1985, he was named to the Florida High School Association All-Century Team, recognizing him as one of the top 33 players in a century of state football history. Scouts flocked to witness his highlight reel plays on both offense and defense, from long touchdown strikes as a quarterback to lockdown coverage and acrobatic interceptions as a defensive back. Choosing Florida State University over a pro baseball contract, Sanders launched a three-sport college career that cemented his status as a generational talent. In football, he patrolled Bobby Bowden's secondary, intercepting 14 passes, including a program record 100-yard return, and secured consecutive consensus All-American honors in 1987 and 1988. His lockdown coverage earned him the 1988 Jim Thorpe Award as the nation's top defensive back, while his spectacular punt return average led the Atlantic Coast Conference. Simultaneously, he starred for the Seminoles baseball team, batting .331 in 1986 and swiping 27 bases in 1987 under coach Mike Martin. Sanders also moonlighted for the track squad, famously running a leg of the 4x100 relay between baseball playoff games in May 1987, a feat hailed by the Tallahassee Democrat as proof that Primetime defied the limits of any single sport. By the time NFL scouts evaluated him in 1989, his blend of size, 6 feet, a 4.27-second 40-yard dash, and flair for drama predicted a professional career that would shatter expectations. His electrifying performances earned him early invitations to bowl games, all-star showcases, and national media profiles. In April 1989, the Falcons used their 5th overall pick to draft Florida State cornerback Deion Sanders. He had clocked a 4.27-second 40-yard dash at the NFL Combine and earned an 8.0 pre-draft grade, the highest among defensive backs that year. Atlanta's defensive coach Marion Campbell called him the fastest player ever seen. Still, nobody guessed how much theater this two-sport star would bring. Reporters nicknamed him Primetime almost immediately. Fans printed number 21 Primetime t-shirts before the preseason finale. In his first NFL game, he returned a punt 68 yards for a touchdown against the Los Angeles Rams at Fulton County Stadium, setting a Falcons rookie record and cementing his reputation as an instant playmaker. Teammates often joked that practice felt like a variety show. Opponents feared throwing his way. However, Sanders seized the spotlight and drove his own value. He held out on an initial $400,000 offer, walked away, then settled on a 4-year, $4.5 million contract, the largest rookie deal in Falcons history to that point. By season's end, he led all rookies with 5 interceptions and appeared on the cover of Sports Illustrated, another first for a Falcons player. His rookie highlights grace NFL Films' highlight reel today. Clearly, Deion Sanders had arrived not just as a player, but as a cultural force, ensuring every snap carried the promise of spectacle. His magnetic presence forced the league to reevaluate its celebration rules, sowing seeds for today's modern era of spectacle. Nothing captured Primetime's flair quite like his ball kiss. The moment Deion Sanders snatched an errant pass, he'd spring forward, football clutched in one hand, then press his lips on the ball as if sealing a masterpiece. In one seamless motion, he lofted the ball high with a casual flick, then barrel spiked it into the turf, pure theater on grass. Jeff Malone confessed years later that defenses simply stopped scheming to blitz Sanders. Coaches would call up coverage packages instead, fearful that a blitz might spark another highlight-worthy kiss in live replay. Malone joked when he puckered that ball, suddenly everyone forgot about their assignments. Quarterbacks felt the sting too. After seeing 2 or 3 of their throws yanked back and adorned with prime-time lip service, many signal callers deliberately avoided Sanders' side of the field. Randall Cunningham admitted on an Eagles radio show, mentioning that he didn't want to be the guy on Sunday NFL Countdown who tossed a gift into his highlight reel. But Sanders didn't stop at kisses. He moonwalked along the yard line numbers after forcing fumbles, mime-dabbing imaginary tears on the Baltimore sideline, and even snatched a cameraman's mic to say, "You didn't see that coming, did you?" Each taunt drove opposing coaches to distraction and sent league executives into panic over the sport's growing reputation for clowning. By 2000, the NFL codified penalties against excessive celebration, explicitly banning his ball kiss and other choreographed moves under unsportsmanlike conduct rules. Ironically, that crackdown validated Sanders' impact. He had forced the league to confront the drama fans craved, blazing a trail for every choreographed dance, post-touchdown shimmy, and end zone cam that followed. Sanders' home game theatrics in Atlanta were one thing. His ability to humiliate teams on the road was something else entirely. In 1991, he arrived at stadium and quickly seized control. He intercepted Bernie Kosar. After the pick, he planted a kiss on the ball and lofted the ball to a child in the stands. Neither interception drew a tackle during his sprint to the end zone. Frustrated, Browns head coach Bud Carson fumed in the press room, mentioning that players get paid to play football, not to stand around watching one guy's variety show. In 1994, Primetime made decision to join San Francisco 49ers and helped lead the 49ers to a 13-3 record despite playing just 14 games. He recorded 6 interceptions, led the NFL with 303 return yards, and scored 3 times. During a heated matchup in Atlanta, Sanders intercepted Jeff George and returned it 93 yards for a touchdown, glaring at the Falcons bench as boos rained down and tensions flared with Andre Ricin. Though his antics were bold, Sanders earned respect from teammates, including the reserve Tim McDonald Plummer. And perhaps his crowning road performance came in 1995 with the Dallas Cowboys at Texas Stadium. Facing Jim Kelly and the Buffalo Bills, Sanders ripped the pass away and exploded on a 70-yard return. He stopped deliberately at the 5-yard line, blew a kiss toward Kelly, and then ambled across the goal line like an actor closing a Broadway show. Bills players stormed the turf in rage as over 80,000 fans roared at the display. Moreover, Sanders' away game stunts became part of his legend. Fans in each stadium loudly roared his nickname, Primetime, as he intercepted pass after pass. League officials complained that football risked becoming a circus act rather than a contest. He left rival coaches exacerbated, teammates amused, and executives scrambling to define excessive celebration. By taunting opponents on their home turf, he inevitably forced the NFL to confront both Showmanship's undeniable appeal and the unease it stirred among staunch traditionalists. Now, by the late 1990s, NFL team owners and members of the competition committee saw that Deion Sanders' flair had a double effect. Television ratings rose sharply whenever he made a dramatic play, yet some longtime supporters feared that his loud celebrations might harm the integrity of the game. In response, the league introduced new guidelines in 1997 to limit what it called excessive celebrations. Those rules labeled certain actions as unsportsmanlike conduct. A special booklet showed images of banned moves. Players could no longer kiss the football in view of cameras. They could not mock the other team with elaborate gestures. Group dances that involved more than one player were also prohibited. Although Sanders had already left the NFL by the year 2001, the rules he inspired remained in force. Referees were told to flag any end zone celebration that went beyond a simple gesture. A 15-yard penalty would apply after the score. In addition, the league set fines of up to $30,000 for each offense. On SportsCenter, a commentator sighed that Primetime forced the league to clip its own wings. Many agreed that the league had drawn a clear line across the grass. Yet the new limits also revealed how much spectators had come to expect a dramatic moment after every touchdown. After these rule changes, fans no longer accepted a quiet pose at the goal line. Television networks began to demand slow-motion replays for each celebration. NFL's desire to reduce flash and spectacle only sharpened the focus on highlight reels. In trying to curb wild antics, the league opened the door to a new era of marketing, where each moment of joy would be replayed in prime time. The rules remain part of the NFL rulebook to this day and beyond always. However, Sanders didn't confine his showmanship to gridiron ceremonies. In 1989, he signed with the New York Yankees and debuted in the outfield just weeks after his NFL training camp began. Over 9 major league seasons, split between the Yankees, Atlanta Braves, and Cincinnati Reds, Sanders brought the same razzle-dazzle. Tip-of-the-cap receptions on routine fly balls, bowed salutes to screaming crowds, and post-game press conference one-liners delivered with trademark grin. In 1992, Sanders won 2 Super Bowl titles and made 1 World Series appearance and became the only athlete in history to play in a Super Bowl and World Series. Reporters dubbed him the ultimate crossover artist and speculated whether he'd ever focus on one sport long enough to break major records. Yet Sanders insisted, why choose when I can own both stages? Baseball purists bristled at the intruder who treated their pastime like a sideshow. NFL traditionalists likewise grumbled that Sanders wasn't committed to football alone. But from a branding perspective, his dual sport success doubled his fan base, quadrupled his endorsement potential, and humiliated critics who claimed he was merely a one-trick pony. Moreover, Sanders treated personal branding as a science. In 1992, he negotiated one of the most lucrative sneaker deals in history. Primetime branded tennis shoes sold exclusively at Foot Locker nationwide. He got starred in cereal commercials, energy drink ads, and even guest spots on late-night talk shows. His wardrobe collaborations with high-end retailers blurred boundaries between sports and fashion, cementing his status as a pop culture icon. Television networks seized on Sanders' magnetism. Primetime Live, a weekly segment on ESPN, dissected his on-field theatrics with slow-motion replays and celebrity guest commentators. While critics accused Sanders of commodifying everything, even his teammates' reputations, few could dispute the spike in merchandise revenue. Now, while fans adored Sanders' theatrics, teammates held mixed feelings. Some younger players reveled in the spotlight, modeling their pre-game dances on Primetime's choreography. Others, particularly veterans raised on steel-fisted discipline, felt overshadowed by his relentless attention-seeking. Some complained that every interception became a Deion show. Yet coaches recognized the morale boost Primetime brought to a roster already stacked with talent. He simply reminded Sanders that touchdowns belonged to the team, not a solo act. In 1990, owner Jerry Jones embraced Sanders' celebrity, deploying him in marketing campaigns and public relations stunts. Cowboys quarterback Troy Aikman admitted off-camera that it's weird to be outshone by your own cornerback, yet concluded that over the long haul, Primetime's flair brought national attention and ticket revenue to the franchise. Also, Sanders' bravado occasionally veered into controversy. After a 1996 game against Green Bay, he mimed wiping away tears at Packer fans, then blew a kiss to opposing team players while strutting off the field. NFL fined him $20,000 for unsportsmanlike conduct, a record at the time, and mandated sensitivity training for repeat offenders. Outside the stadium, Sanders battled tabloid rumors of altercations with teammates and occasional tardiness to meetings. Once, Sanders admitted that I'm not perfect. Sometimes my ego gets the best of me, but I am present. Yet when asked if he toned down his sportsmanship, he smiled and replied that it'd be like asking Picasso to stop painting. While detractors decried his antics as narcissistic, prizes and accolades piled up. 2 Super Bowl rings, 8 Pro Bowl selections, NFL Defensive Player of the Year, and Hall of Fame induction in 2011. In the end, critics reluctantly acknowledged that Sanders' competitive fire was as fierce as his flamboyance. Today's NFL celebrations, choreographed group dances, slow-mo endzone cameras, and elaborate goal line handshakes owe a direct debt to Primetime. When Calvin Johnson mimics after a long catch, or Odell Beckham Jr. pirouettes before spiking, they echo moves Sanders popularized in the early 90s. Fantasy football culture, highlight-driven marketing, and social media showmanship trace back to that one cornerback who demanded the spotlight. The league's current celebration zone, a designation area beyond the end line, was carved out as a compromise between Sanders' era of unrestricted spectacle and the old school's code of muted respect. Thus, Deion didn't just break rules, he rewrote the playbook on what football could be for fans. The tension between tradition and entertainment that primetime illuminated remains central to the NFL's identity in a media-saturated age. So, Deion Sanders didn't merely embarrass opponents, he embarrassed an entire institution into self-reflection. By fusing athletic excellence with unapologetic showmanship, he forced the NFL to balance its roots in rugged competition with the emerging realities of televised entertainment. Teams, coaches, and executives learned that embracing flair could drive ratings and revenue, but clamping down too hard risked alienating a fan base hungry for personality. In the end, Primetime's legacy transcends highlight reels. He proved that sports are storytelling, drama, and community spectacle, qualities far bigger than any single game. His theatrical interceptions, sideline taunts, and off-field branding reshaped not only rulebooks, but the very soul of professional football. Thus, love or loathe him, Deion Sanders remains the archetype of the showboater who embarrassed the entire NFL, and in doing so, made the sport richer, stranger, and infinitely more entertaining. Now, if we ask you, what are your thoughts about Deion Sanders? Share with us in the comment section below. We would love to read them. Also, if you like this video, share it with your friends and subscribe to our channel for more interesting content.